Welcome to the cemetery, boys and girls. You better buckle up in my hearse because we're gonna go and visit your new home in one of my freshly dug up graves. So pay attention, sit tight, and enjoy the ride. Today's story is written and attributed to Rosie Rose. I woke up in a shallow grave after my wife tried to kill me. It was cold and I could feel water and mud surrounding my body. I dared not to open my eyes. My time was limited as I felt my head get dizzy from the lack of oxygen. I kept myself from panicking as I struggled and removed myself from the muddy confines and dug. I finally no longer felt mud and struggled to the surface. Putting myself on the ground, I looked around at my surroundings. It was a barren field. It was night and it was storming. The rain quickly washed away the mud from my face. What had happened? My head throbbed as if it had been hit. Memories of what happened prior flashed through my mind. There was a woman who felt very familiar to me, and another man. Who was he? I staggered away from my muddy grave and searched for help. Somebody had tried to kill me, but failed, I presumed. I shivered as my rain-soaked clothes grew cold from the wind. After walking for about 15 minutes, I found a highway. I walked alongside it until some lights shined on me. I stopped and turned, squinting at the bright lights. The person got out of their car and ran up to me. "Mark, what are you doing here? The whole town has been looking for you for the past day. Your wife reported you missing. What happened?" I staggered away from him in fear. "Who are you?" He looked taken aback. "It's me, your friend from high school, Phil. Don't you remember me?" The name sounded familiar, but I couldn't recall much about this man, Phil. I shook my head at his question. "Well, surely you remember your wife, Jennifer, don't you?" he asked instead. I thought for a moment. Her name sounded familiar, and I felt like I knew her, but my head continued to throb painfully. "I guess this ain't important at the moment. Let's get you out of this rain," the man, Phil said, as he led me to the passenger door of his vehicle. I got in and he drove us into town. "Let's take you to the ER first. Get you checked out." "Hey, Phil, who is Jennifer?" I asked with a scratchy voice. He looked flabbergasted. "Jennifer is your wife. You've been married for about 8 years now. You and her were high school sweethearts. How can you not remember?" I rubbed my head. "I don't know, my head hurts a lot." I was brought into the ER and a nurse took me to a bed. "Just lay here for now, Mark. I'll hook you up to an IV to get you some fluids." I nodded my head, showing her I understood what she was saying. A doctor walked in. "Hey Mark, can you tell me if you are hurt anywhere?" The back of my head keeps throbbing painfully, I said. The doctor looked at my head. You have a gash on the back of your... Nothing is broken, but you'll need stitches. I nodded my head. Okay. The doctor then asked, Mark, do you know what day it is? I thought for a moment, but no date came to mind. No, I don't. The doctor sighed. I heard from Phil you don't know who he or your wife is. Do you recognise me or the nurse? No. Who are you? I asked. I'm one of your high school friends, Scott. This is my wife, Olivia, he said. You both sound familiar, but I'm sorry, I can't really recall much, I stated. Alright, that's fine, Mark. We're gonna get you fixed up. Don't worry about a thing, Scott said. He cleaned the wound on my head and numbed it up. He then stitched it up. Alright, Mark, we are going to keep you in the hospital for now, to make sure there are no further problems. It seems like you have dissociative amnesia. You can't remember things about yourself or your friends and family. This shouldn't last too long. Hopefully, you'll recover from it quickly. I nodded my head. Thank you. Alright, get some rest, Mark. Glad to have you back safely, Scott said. I felt my eyes grow heavy as exhaustion set in. I fell asleep. I had a confusing dream where the woman had hit me in the head with a shovel. I then saw myself get dragged. Is this what happened to me? Who did it? Light shined in my eyes and I woke up. It was no longer raining and was actually a sunny day. The nurse from last night, Olivia, came in. Hey Scott, how are you doing? I brought you some breakfast. Hope you're hungry, she said as she sat my food down on the table and then extending it across me. I smiled. Thank you, I'm starving. By the way, we've contacted your wife. She'll be here to get you once you can be discharged, she added before she left. I ate my food and waited patiently for the tray to be taken. This time both Scott and Olivia came. Olivia got my tray as Scott checked me out. You look good. Your vitals are all normal and you no longer have slight signs of dehydration. I believe you can be discharged today. I will have Olivia call your wife and let her know, Scott said. I nodded. Okay, thank you. Scott took the IV out and left the room. After about 30 minutes, Scott walked in with another woman. Mark, this is your wife, Jennifer. I already told her about your amnesia, so don't worry, Scott said. She held a thing of clothes in her hand, but her facial expression looked like she was extremely nervous and scared. Looking at her, my head throbbed once more, and I felt a feeling of betrayal. But betrayal of what? She held the clothes out to me. Here is a change of clothes. Go change into them so I can sign you out. She said it in a rush. Odd, but I dismissed it. I smiled and grabbed the clothes and went to change into them. Once I changed into them, I followed her out to the front desk, where she signed me out. She led me out to a car and drove home. Honey, how about you go lay down to rest? You must be tired from everything that had happened, Jennifer said. No, I feel fine, really, I responded. She forced a smile. No, seriously, I insist. Just go rest. She led me to the couch and had me lay down. She placed a blanket over me and ushered me to sleep. For some reason, her trying to usher me to sleep made my hair stand on end. I decided to go along with it and close my eyes, even though I wasn't tired. She left the room, and not shortly after I heard her on the phone with someone. I don't know. I thought that a hit to his head would have killed him. There was a pause, and then she said, "Yeah, I can't believe it. We went through all that trouble, and he is still alive." Ugh. Just get over here so we can deal with this properly. What the hell was she talking about? And just like a light bulb coming on, fear trickled down my spine as everything came back to me. One day prior, I had just gotten home. I had gotten off a little early, so I wanted to surprise Jennifer with some flowers. I walked through the door but didn't see her. I know she is here. Her car is out front. I checked the kitchen, the laundry room, and the backyard, but nothing. I was walking up the stairs when I heard some sounds from our bedroom. I rushed to the room and opened the door. There, in our bed, was my wife and some man I didn't even know. She gasped and tried to cover up. "Mark, it's not what you think, I promise." I felt disappointed, hurt and betrayed. "Yeah, whatever. Don't let me interrupt you. I'll just leave." I dropped the flowers on the floor and turned and walked away. I started to walk down the stairs when I felt some hard and heavy collide with the back of my head. I fell down the stairs and glanced up to see my wife with a shovel in hand, and the man right by her. "Oh God, what do we do?" she said, freaking out. My vision was going black as I felt my body being pulled. I woke up for a moment to see myself getting dragged into that barren field. I was afraid and had no idea what would happen. I soon blacked out again, and that's what I last remember until I woke up and crawled from that muddy grave. Present day. I sat straight up off the couch. The man hadn't yet arrived, and Jennifer was pacing in the kitchen. When I entered, she turned pale white. Mark, did you hear anything?" she stammered out. "I heard everything, and I know enough. How could you cheat on me and then attempt to kill me?" I said. It's not what you think. I was forced to," she cried. "You can tell your story to the police. They'll be here any minute," I said. She stopped her crying and in an instant grabbed a kitchen knife and charged at me. I grabbed her arms to keep herself from stabbing me. I heard sirens off in the distance that were getting closer. I twisted the knife out of her hand and it clattered on the floor. She tried scratching me and biting me. "If only you had stayed dead, this wouldn't have happened. I could have been happy," she screeched out. "Do you hear yourself? You sound crazy," I said, both angry and fearful. The police busted into the house and tased her. I let her go and let them tend to her. I walked outside to give my testament and saw that man handcuffed in the back of a police car. How could the woman I love try to kill me? I thought she loved me, but I guess not. After giving my testament, I saw Phil walk over. "Hey, I heard what happened. Are you alright?" he asked. "Yeah, I guess," I responded. "Maybe things will be alright." So, enjoy your final resting place. Until the next time you come into my cemetery, I'll make sure I've got a new grave freshly dug up just for you.